Madrid is coming at you, Cleopatra. Let's get to it. Hello, my friends, and welcome to continued coverage of GP Madrid. You're in the booth with me, it's Riley Knight, and alongside me, the Hall of Famer, Raphael Levy. You're watching MTG Red Zone, and we're going to kick things off with some modern by the look of things. Yep, we're going to stick with this table here between Fabrizio Campanino and Andreas Peterson. Now it looks like we've got a Scape Shift deck versus a Tron deck. Raf, a classic big mana mirror match.
Indeed. So on the right side, a deck that tries to have 7 lands in play in order to cast a Scape Shift and deal about 18 to 21 damage to their opponent. On the left side, you have the Tron deck that tries to have 3 lands on the board, not 7.
No, they still want 7 mana, but they get it in a different way.
They still get 7 mana to cast a Karn or Wurmcoil Engine to control the board and the game.
So it looks like Campanino here is, with the help of an expedition map, he's found his turn 3 Tron. So we're going to see what he can bring to bear on the third turn of this game. Peterson's deck, the Scape Shift deck, a touch slower than much of the explosivity of the Tron decks, but the consistency of Scape Shift really can't be overstated. Every card in the deck essentially cheats out an extra land, but that doesn't really matter when you're facing down a Karn Liberated on turn number 3. And Raf, as I've mentioned so many times, they always have Karn.
On turn 3.
They always have it.
I think this matchup favors the Tron player.
Mm-hmm.
Scape Shift does not really have any way to interact with Tron in the first couple of turns. So that means the Tron player, if with a normal draw, will have access to 7 mana at least on turn 4.
Bit of shortcutting going on here as we see a Secure Tribe Elder being sacked in the end step, and during the upkeep, this Search for Tomorrow is going to resolve anyway. So this means that Peterson just shortcutting with the blessing of his opponent Campanino here to get those lands out nice and quickly. But as you're saying, Raf, it's tricky for the Scape Shift deck to really go up against the really powerful stuff that Tron can do.
The first activation of Karn will take care of a land, and that basically gains a turn for the Tron player, because Scape Shift needs the 7 lands, and against Tron, if they want to win right away, they need 8. Because Tron is not taking any damage from their lands,
now,
unless they play Bloodbraid Elf.
Here's a huge play, because Andreas Peterson has come with a very innovative approach to Scape Shift, playing Bloodbraid Elf. He's not the only player to be doing this weekend, but Bloodbraid Elf essentially guarantees... Ooh. Oh, and a huge hit here as well means that Bloodbraid Elf can continue to hustle and bustle and get up against Campanino's life total. But Bloodbraid Elf, I really like it in Scape Shift, and I'll tell you why. You will play it so much more of the time, Raf Levy, on turn number 3.
That's true, because you have so many ways to ramp into 4 mana.
And it is one of these cards that applies early pressure, which Scape Shift isn't very good at doing, in addition to almost always hitting a Farseek effect. I mean, it hits a Lightning Bolt just here, sometimes a Sweltering Suns, which is obviously a great hit as well. But
I think Andrea would have liked a Farseek more than a Lightning Bolt. That looked impressive on that looked impressive.
Cool,
kill the Karn,
but
a Farseek would have been much better here.
I think you would have preferred the extra land rather than the extra 3 damage. But the Bloodbraid Elf, I mean, what happens so often with Scape Shift in the late game is that its top decks are just magnificent, right?
But have you seen Fabrizio's hand?
What's in Fabrizio's
I think he has two Ulamog.
Oh dear. Oh no. So he's just gone and searched on the tower.
While Andreas is going to look for a few lands, next turn is Ulamog time.
The breakfast buffet is going to open up, and the ceaseless hunger will have his way.
And the turn after would be another Ulamog. So
he's a Wurmcoil just to get the engines revving here.
And to get over...
I'll back up over 18.
Yeah, over 18.
Yep.
So Andreas will need 8 lands.
So Peterson now. It's going to be Secure Tribe Elder, another rampant growth type effect out of this deck. And this it goes back to what I was saying about its top decks in the late game, if it ever gets there. If it doesn't need the Scape Shift to win, effectively every card, more or less off the top, is going to be a Lightning Bolt once Valakut is online, because it's either a Secure Tribe Elder effect or just a land.
Unless Ulamog hits the battlefield.
It's going to be a big problem here for Peterson to overcome as Wurmcoil gets in for 6.
And the Secure Tribe Elder was actually a pretty good draw here, because he can deny the life gain from the Wurmcoil engine, from the lifelink.
So the Wurmcoil engine will do 0 damage, even though it has been it has nothing blocking it anymore. So that means that Campanino will stay at 17, and Peterson can go and get another mountain.
And this is
But this is going to be very troublesome here.
yeah, getting to 7 or 8 mana is going to be impossible.
And now Peterson recognizes
yeah.
with Ulamog basically uncontested on this battlefield, the jig is up. So Campionino with a relatively easy win there. You have to say that. Khan was dealt with, of course, thanks to the Blood Red Elf, but ultimately the Ceaseless Hunger good enough to get there.
So even if he didn't hit the lands at this point, if he just killed exile 2 random cards, the problem is when Ulamog attacks, it exiles 20 cards. And in these 20 cards, there is most likely a lot of mountains.
A lot of mountains going to be eaten up,
and the
that's
Scapeshift
right.
player needs the mountains to actually win the game. He needs a lot of mountains, at least 5 or 6 when he resolves Scapeshift. So he won't actually have enough mountains in the deck to win.
Over to Legacy now with Tommaso Badiali against Thomas Enervoldsen here. We've got the Thomas Mirror match, and it looks like we've got double moons across the sky. How beautiful. What a sight to see here as Badiali is mooning Thomas Enervoldsen right out of this game. Although with the Deathrite Shamans, of course, this is going to be less punishing than it would be in other situations.
So we've seen last round the Red Prison deck playing against eldrazi and being pinged out of the game by Endbringer. So Ensnaring Bridge is good, keeps creatures from attacking, but it doesn't keep the creature from dealing damage or making you lose life.
So 3 mana for a Brainstorm here, thanks to that Trinisphere. Trinisphere really so punishing from any of these Delver Deathrite decks that, I mean, as we said, just have a critical mass of 1-drops or free spells.
Tommaso has a pretty good answer to these Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah.
In the form of a Fury Conclusion.
Oh, Fiery Conclusion, a nice one.
So maybe playing the third one was probably a little greedy.
Well, he's a 3rd Blood Moon now.
Well, they're not going anywhere. It's just he plays them to not have to keep a card in his hand.
Yeah, yeah. Otherwise, the
keep
Deathrites could attack.
Yep, to keep the elves from attacking.
So a Snapcaster Mage now, of course, going to cost 3 mana as usual, and then another 3 mana here.
Bolt.
For
oh yeah.
a
Kolaghan's
Kolaghan's
command.
Very nice, and this means that the Deathrites are on beatdown duty, and Badiali is down to 12, no 13, I should say. Excuse me.
So this Red Prison deck is relying on their opponents to not have any way to destroy their bridges.
And it looks like Enervoldsen had exactly that. And now we have, wow, look at this, the Hill Giant mode on, the Grey Ogre mode on Simian Spirit Guide, but another Lightning Bolt to take care of that, and more attacks here for Enervoldsen. There looks like there's been a breakout in Cell Block 5 because this Prison deck is not holding its water here.
I think they could play this match a million times. That would be very hard to win if Blood Moon doesn't hit the battlefield on turn 1.
Yeah.
Because Deathrite Shaman is such a problem for that Prison. It gives the mana, the colored mana, that the decks, the 4 or 5 color decks need to play, and just nullifies the Blood Moon.
And Enervoldsen critically having that swamp there to be able to activate Deathrite Shaman without lands in the bin means that he's going to take it out in game number 1 there. A very tidy victory for Enervoldsen, who seemed to be really under the gun. Blood Moon, Ensnaring Bridge, what have you, but he kept a cool head about him, and at the end of the day, rewarded for it here, Raphael Levy.
Well, the Danes are unstoppable. They won the last GP in Lyon, the Team GP. Christopher Larson got replaced for this one. But the core of the team, Thomas Enervoldsen and Michael Bonde, are still there.
Well, Andreas Peterson's been a very worthy sub for the Danish Juggernaut, and he's come in playing Titan Shift, and of course you can see Enervoldsen there on 4-color mid-range, or check pile as it's known a lot of the time. Michael Bonde on blue-black mid-range, certainly one of the decks of the tournament. Blue-black control also getting it done this weekend. But their opponents, Matteo Mora, Fabrizio Campanino, and Tommaso Badiali. We've already seen the Prison deck and the mono-green Tron, vegan Tron, because it's green and everyone hates it, and of course mono-red in the hands of Matteo More. So this is how things look on our feature match area, but we can also have a look at the standings as well and see how things are going. Here are the Danes. You said they're unstoppable,
yeah.
Raph, and it's an accurate portrayal of how things are going.
I think are they in already?
Are they
No,
locked up?
no, they're not, because they have 2 more rounds to play. If they lose twice, they might not be in, but it looks like it.
So these guys here, of course, flanked by their opponents, More, Campanino, Badali. And you can see Mengucci, Calcano, and Dominguez. They are still at X and 2. They're at 10 and 2 after, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll believe it, they started this tournament at 1 and 2. So they are just winning. They've obviously popped on the T-Pain, and all they do is win, 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 baby, win. And they are heading towards the top of the tables. And as we continue down the standings, you can see that people like Joel Larsen still alive and kicking here. But further down towards place from places 11 to 20, still some big names up and about. You can see there Marcio Carvalho, Antonio Del Moral Leon, and a few other people as well who are still flying the flag. Of course, Martin Muller, Lucas Blohon, these guys as well. But these guys are going to have a very tough time to get anywhere near our top four. As we head back down to the feature match area, Tommaso Badiali and Thomas Enevoldsen playing Legacy.
So from my quick calculations, I think the Danes are in.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, 2 losses and a draw should make it. With so many draws, I think they, well, from the quick view ahead of the standings, I think they're in.
Well, this is something to touch upon, Raf, maybe something that we could update the viewers on. If you've just joined us, certainly welcome, by all means welcome. It's great to have you along. But this tournament, we've actually seen a surprising number of unintentional draws. Now, this means that a number of points just fall into the nether, really, because instead of rewarding players with 3 points, only 2 points get given, one to each side, which means that getting into the top 4 with an X2-1 record is much more achievable.
It's been a long time since we've seen so many teams that are able to make it with 2 losses in the draw. But it might be like most of the teams will make it at 2 losses in the draw. If they lose twice, it's possible that all 4 teams
could still get in. We may already
are at X2-1.
We may already have our top 4 assembled. Jeez, we'll see how things go there. All of these tables right now, unfortunately, are shuffling up and sideboarding, so we don't have any live magic to bring you. But of course, as soon as play begins, we will be right across it, ladies and gentlemen. So don't even worry about that. You are watching GP Madrid. You're in the booth with me. It's Riley Knight, and him. It's Raphael Levy, the French Hall of Famer. It's fantastic to have your company this weekend, and as you can see, we're going to have shuffle cam on all 3 tables right now. There we go. Look at that. The very finest, ladies and gentlemen, in shuffling, sideboarding, mulliganing, and dealing. But we're going to settle things down here on our Legacy table and get things going for game number 2 between Tommaso Badiali on red prison and Thomas Enevoldsen on 4-color check pile. We'll see how things go here, because Enevoldsen winning game number 1. He'll be looking to double down and take out the second game as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, thank you for confirming that verbally as well as nodding at me. That's helpful.
This is my insight on this shuffling sequence.
Looks like Badiali's gone for the 10-pile shuffle here. We're going to head instead to modern here. I know fans of the pile shuffle around the world will be disappointed to actually see some real-life magic going on, but that's the price you've got to pay. Looks like a nice start for Peterson here with a Farseek on turn number 2, but Campanino has got a hand with well, at least a couple of ways for him to start assembling that Tron. I know he's going to be looking for that turn 3 Khan once again, Raf.
So a green mana from the Chromatic Star will enable Fabrizio to find a second piece of the Tron, if there is one.
Ancient Stirrings here, cast off that Chromatic Star.
But there's a Ghost Quarter.
So the big whiff here for Campanino when he's looking for Tron pieces. This is unusual, really. Ancient Stirrings is, I mean, it's just so good.
But there's not going to be a card on turn 3.
No turn 3 card. But can we talk about Ancient Stirrings for just a moment? Because this card is just busto. It is ridiculous.
In this deck, it does everything you want it to do. It helps you to align the 3 pieces you need, and it gets you the threat you want.
It just offers an effect that we don't see in Magic anymore at this level. We don't see Ponders, Preordains, anything else like this, and this card is just better in Tron. I mean, fine, very, very constricted on deck building when you're wanting to get the most out of Ancient Stirrings, but this card in Tron is just busted. It's just insane. Here's a Bloodbraid Elf now for Peterson. This is the latest innovation out of our Scape Shift deck, and he's just flipped a spicy one off the top here.
Oh, what is this card?
This is a Beast Within.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. I didn't recognize the the picture. But that's a pretty good card.
Yeah, nice way to invalidate this this Tron sequencing here for Peterson, but not at its best, certainly. Campanino is obviously already doubling up on Tron lands, and turning one of them into a 3/3 is no joke. And look at that, Peterson attacks into the 3/3.
So that was
with his
basically a
Blood Red
4-mana demolish
Yeah,
on the land.
sure. Which is still fine against Tron, especially when your mana isn't being disrupted.
Not getting the second piece of the Tron is actually working out great for Fabrizio, because, well, none of the pieces got destroyed in that way.
Yeah, he didn't lose too much by it, just set back a turn.
Oh, he drew a mine, and now he will have the Tron on turn 5 because he got the land destroyed.
Peterson now. He's going to search for tomorrow by the look of things. Oh, no. Instead, it isn't.
So we will
okay.
not.
Very good. All right,
not
Peterson.
naturally have it.
This is not something we see out of Scape Shift. This is not an interactive deck. This is a very, very linear way of winning games of Magic. But all of a sudden, all the interaction that Peterson has been tussling with here has really put him in the driver's seat.
Yeah, the game one of Tron against Scape Shift, I would say would lean towards the Tron, as I said before. But game 2, when there's actually some interaction, it's probably evens up a little bit.
Really nice one here for Peterson as he continues to push forward. So here is the mine, as you said before.
Oh, Warping Well in the Fabrizio's hand. So he will be able to counter, well, not a Primeval Titan.
Not quite, no, but Warping Whale is a nice one against, of course, Scape Shift. Now, Primeval Titan cast off the Summoner's Pact here. Peterson is pulling further and further ahead.
That's a very good play. Being able to get two Valakut here will allow him to deal a lot of damage next turn with Primeval Titan.
Yep, already enough mountains in play, or there will be very shortly at least, and double Valakut means that, of course, Peterson is drawing live off the top of his deck, and an important point to note here is just how the Scape Shift deck goes into the late game. The fact that almost all of the cards are live off the top of their library. Of course, they could always draw the 2 forests, but otherwise, it's just going to be 6 damage, double Lightning Bolt off the top every time for Peterson here.
So do we have Tron yet? No. Is there another Steerings?
Campanino
No, we don't have another Steering.
floating off the spear,
No,
and he's going to pack him up. Yep, a sensible thing to do because, of course, in slams the Titan for 6. It can go and get some more lands, maybe dome him for...
That was 18 damage this turn.
Oh, that is just simple as that.
So he would fetch 2 more mountains, trigger 4 times.
Double Valakut, double Mountain Trigger. Yep, get it done. There we go. Easy as that. Campanino reads the writing on the wall. He's obviously maths is a little bit quicker than mine, unsurprisingly, I would say. And they even up here. Andreas Peterson 1-1 against Fabrizio Campanino. Looks like Matteo Mora and Michael Bonder are still battling it out after Mora wins against Bonder with his mono-red deck. Blue-black certainly has been the talk of the tournament from a standard perspective, however, Raf, and will, of course, fans of Michael Bonder will be hoping that the deck deals him out the cards that he needs. Right now, however, it's back to Legacy. We've got Badiali on red Prison, Enevoldson on 4-color check pile. Double Snapcaster dueling off against Leyline of the Void here. Here's
trying to see how that happened. What's exile, do you think? Mox and no.
We've got a City of
everything in Thomas's graveyard is exiled. Is that what's? We'll
I
know very soon.
I would imagine so, as soon as that preordain hits the bin. But it looks like Badiali in his graveyard, not that it's particularly relevant, has an Ensnaring Bridge, City of Traders. It's like is that a Blood Moon down the bottom there from the dark? And it looks like, yes, Enevoldson's entire exile zone is
this card is very problematic for Tommaso's deck. Colagan's Command is just huge. Just having a way to destroy an artifact in the main and a little more ways to do that after board, that's just big.
Chandra's not doing too well here. Under siege from these Snapcaster Mages. And it's a Simian Spirit Guide off the top. And once again, we're seeing the Grey Ogre mode activated. I've never seen this happen so many times in a single game.
That's one of the win conditions of the Red Prison deck. Because it has so few ways to actually win the game with 4 Blood Moons. And you see them attacking with Magus of the Moon. That's one of the win conditions of the deck. And Magus of the Moon is just as big as the Simian Spirit Guide. It's a 2/2 for 3. when your opponent can't cast any spell, when your opponent can't attack, can't do anything, anything just wins the game.
Well, right now, a Murderous Cut is going to take care of that Simian Spirit Guard. We've got a Chalice for 1 now. And Volson's going to have to get through that. But his Snapcasters are on beatdown mode. And they're doing very well indeed. Tussling with that Chandra, getting her off the battlefield.
Well, they can't do much more against Leyline of the Void. They can't flashback anything.
No, just the old just Ambush Viper.
Without that touch.
Just Ambush Vipers versus Grey Ogres here. But a Baleful Strix is a nice one. Keeps the cards flowing here for Anna Volson. And he's going to get in for another 4.
I think Tommaso really wants a Blood Moon here. Just to make sure there's no blue spell played. Well, except for Force of Will. That does not really care about Blood Moon.
No, and Enevoldson has aggressively chased out his basics here. He's got a swamp, he's got a plane, got an island on the battlefield here.
So no, even Blood Moon don't actually.
That's not going to be the backbreaker.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it prevents things like Leovold coming down as of yet, but still. No forests in the deck for Enevoldson, so Blood Moon would still be of some use in shutting off those green cards.
When you start falling behind with the Red Prison deck, it's very hard to come back.
Yeah, you need that Blood Moon on turn number 1.
And the thing is, you need to deal with all the threats on board, and you don't really have the tools to do that.
So here's here's an answer at least.
Fallout.
Yeah, gee, that's
never
huge.
Never mind. I stand corrected.
Tiny little 4 for 1 there. A nice way for Battiala to get his snoot back above water here. And obviously not being able to be countered is huge in a deck in a format overrun by Force of Will, and that's just that's a tidy little cleanup package there. Not quite a 4 for 1, of course, because the Strixes replace themselves. But Jace the Mind Sculptor is a great way here for Enevoldson to start to recoup some of that lost advantage. Brainstorm.
In a way, that Red Prison deck reminds me of Lantern in Modern. If you manage to lock out the game, it's hard for your opponent to come back if he doesn't have the answers. If he has answers in his deck or a way to find them, it gets really hard for you.
Back to Battiali now, who is facing off against an active Jace the Mind Sculptor here.
That's going to be very hard to deal with the Jace. Does he have any answer to this card? He definitely cannot have Pithing Needle because there's a Chalice for 1.
That's not going to get the job done.
And the Chalice player is getting...
in Fiery Confluence as a 4 of,
he's getting
nice
lanterned out. His fate is being sealed.
And now it's a Baleful Strix. And Enevoldson ships here. Battiali off the top. It's a Chandra. All right. She's going to be able to pressure Jace. And the Baleful Strix is not powerful enough to take Chandra down completely here. So Battiali takes 2 to power out that Chandra with the Ancient Tomb here. Battiali's not dead in the water to the Jace, however. Other answers on top of this this Chandra that's just been forced. Looks like Enevoldson has 2 exile zones.
He's super exiled.
He's double exiled.
This one's exiled. The Force of Will is exiled, but the Preordain is like super exiled.
And so now a Kolaghan's Command is going to take care of that Chalice of the Void. Enevoldson firing on all cylinders here. Untaps. Jace, Baleful Strix. Fate Seal you. Let's have a look.
And it's so
when it stays on top, that's the worst feeling in the world.
It's so unlikely Tommaso has 2 active spells that are actually relevant in this situation. That Jace is going to be just so good.
Ensnaring Bridge, another Fate Seal, and another one left on top. Oh, no. Back to Jace, up to 11, getting so close to that Jace Ultimate, which is, of course, backbreaking against so many Tommaso just draws another one off the top.
But there's actually no real card that helps him in that situation.
Oh,
so even if there was one card...
Just every time Enevoldsen's leaving it on top. Every time.
Yeah, there's
just nothing that's going to help him. Well, here's a Magus of the Moon.
It's a little too late.
And a Force of Will.
Just pay.
Yeah.
Hard cast.
Just the 5 cost counterspell. Easy. And now a Jace Ultimate means that Battiali has to extend the hand. Enevoldson powers on to a straight sets victory over Tommaso Battiali. And his teammate Michael Bonde has also equalized it against Matteo Mora. Things are looking good here for the Danish trio because, of course, if Bonde or Peterson wins one more single game of Magic, that is that all over Red Rover, and we move on to our next round here. Let's have a look at Modern now. We've got Enevoldson versus Campanino.
Power in Mine Tower.
And once again, It's Scape Shift versus Tron, and it's going to be
So
a Khan.
He had a card on turn 3, and he had a card on turn 4.
Just eating up those lands. Things not looking good for Andreas Peterson here. Campanino firing on all cylinders, as we've mentioned.
So look at the graveyard. Is there only a card in the graveyard?
Search for
So
tomorrow
do
here.
you know what that means? If there's only a card in the graveyard, that means that turn 1 there was a plant, mine, tower, no fetch, nothing.
Something's been exiled because there is a beast within. So was the Khan?
Yeah, I think it was
the Khan was
yeah.
beast within.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Campanino continues to go to town on Edevaldson's mana base here.
How good is that feeling?
Just
Just play all three lands, all 3 lands.
So easy. And he's an Ancient Stirrings off that sphere.
Why do you even play Ancient Stirrings when you can just...
No, you just draw it. I mean, you
Yeah.
wouldn't even. They could shave Ancient Stirrings and put in like actual good cards.
Yeah.
Because just draw Natural Tron every time. And Peterson has seen enough now. Campanino gets up. Oh, and still got all these. Khan number 3 just to rub it in. Campanino, what a class act. And now Peterson.
Destroy all your lands. It could have been a flawless victory.
Well, as it is, 2-1 for Campanino. And it's now down to standard. Matteo More versus Michael Bonda. Blue-black versus mono-red. Let's get over and see what's going on there as our players also reconfigure themselves to coming off of their advice. Aethersphere Harvester is going to be a nice one against mono-red if it can get the job done. But Peterson, but Bonda's got no way to activate it. The non-crop crasher continues to put on
6
pressure.
damage here.
Ragavan flies in and out. And Bonda needs to stabilize. He needs to do it quickly.
Erasmus Contempt would be a good start.
Champion of wits in hand here for Bonda. And Aethersphere Harvester, as we said, is a good way to sort of buffer up that that's easy for me to say. Buffer up that life total and put up some blocks.
It's pretty good against the Minotaur, so you can avoid the trigger.
The uncrosh. Oh my goodness me! I need to take all these marbles out of my mouth before I start doing commentary. Uncrop crasher.
You kind of sound like me now.
Maybe I'm catching the French off you, mate. Here's a walking ballista for 1.
This one can crew the Harvester.
Yeah, so very tidily now that Harvester, even in the face of a single removal spell, can still block. See what Mora has now on his 4th turn.
That was a pretty good turn on Bonda's side.
So let's see what Mora's got to work with here. Now, of course, he will be flanked by both of his teammates, and the outcome of this entire match rests on this game, with Enevoldson winning 2-0 against Battiali and Campanino winning 2-1 against Peterson. Both teams have picked up a match win, so this will be the final piece of the puzzle here to see who can continue through the next round.
So the stakes of this match, whatever happens, I think the Danes are in. That's what I'm not 100% sure, but I think they're in. So if they win, the Italians are out entirely. If the Italians win, they have to at least draw the next one.
So the stakes are much higher for the Italians.
It's probably a win and end for the Italians, and not so much at stake for the Danes. But they still play to make sure 100% they're in and to be first seeded in the top 4, and therefore have a huge advantage in the playoffs.
Yeah, because they're on the play across
They
all
would
3.
be on the play in 3 matches. So
Earthshaker Kenra now.
They're not playing for nothing.
Going to keep that walking ballista out of the action with a falter effect. And he's going to ship. Yeah, the Sphere Harvester has done exactly what it should have. Stabilized the board here with Bonda at 10, although, of course, in the face of an oncoming Hazaret, Bonda is still going to have to keep his wits about him. 5 mana. Here's the Scarab God. All right, here we go.
Things are going...
now we've got a stew cooking.
Yes.
Scarab God, undisputed king of standard, of course. This fellow is...
is it a king or a god?
Sure. I mean, even higher than a king, I would say probably a bit would be a god, for sure. Definitely has had the best time of things in standard recently. Another Earthshaker Kenra, and no attacks here for Mora. This is not what he wants to be doing.
It's not a good feeling when you're playing mono red and you can't attack.
Bonda's just going to draw. Wants to keep that mana open here. Not looking to invest in some zombie futures just yet.
Now for 4 mana, I can get a 4/4. He could have actually done that during upkeep. During upkeep, he could have retrieved the
Oh, and
Siphoner.
now getting on the front foot with the Harvester. Going to look to buffer that life total.
Yeah, the Walking Ballista is a safety net.
Uh-huh.
If something bad happens, he can still shoot one of the Kenras.
Or even in a pinch, take out that Uncrop Crusher.
Oh, yeah, but I think he would probably reanimate the Siphoner instead with the 4 mana.
Yeah. Seems a better investment.
Especially like facing a Magma Spray, for example. He doesn't want to give Matteo the option to kill the Ballista in response to adding a counter.
Mora finds that 4th land here. We'll see if he's got anything to do with it. Players seem to be.
He can send the whole team and deal like 2 or 3, maybe 2 damage, but and he would be losing a lot of his team.
It's not really where you want to be, huh?
Not exactly, and he might even die on the attack back. So it'd be 4, 9, 10, 13, 14, 15. If he attacks with everything, there's a way he can die next turn.
He's going to have to be very, very careful
so
indeed.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like he's going to want to start swinging for the fences just yet here, Teo Mori.
It's unlikely he dies, but he could happen. He could die.
Could happen. Here's 4 mana, and it's going to be Chandra Torch of Defiance here.
All right.
So Planeswalker coming down to try to settle the score a little bit, but no, commit to memory, and this is why Bondo obviously kept that mana up. Chandra gets sent back on the bench.
Still, can he attack? So now he's not dying next turn. But still, there's no good attack here. If he attacks with everything and make the Scarab God not block, the Ballista can block the 3/2, kill the Canara, and Bondo would take 3, 4, 5 damage. So that's what's happening.
Here's a Ragavan coming in from that attack from the Kari Zev, but look at this. Moray deciding that it is just time to shove.
So as predicted, he's going to kill one of the Earthshaker Kinra, and he's going to take 5 damage down to 8.
The Scarab God kept back thanks to the Uncrop Crasher there. Not able to block. But now, Bondo's in a position to turn the screws, untapping once again with the Scarab God. Got plenty of fuel for TSG in the bin. Let's see what he's got to cook with here. 4 mana.
I was not a big fan of the attack of the Harvester here.
Well, it's just 3 mana for Champion.
I think it was maybe it was good, but I think it was a little greedy here. I think the 3 life he got from that attack, that's the life he wouldn't have lost on the attack back, and he would have stabilized his position a lot more.
And Bondo is discarding Fatal Push. Which is a
no, he must be ahead. I can't see his hand. It just looked greedy from our perspective.
But I mean, when you think about the fact that your opponent is discarding cards like Fatal Push when you're playing mono red, it's not a good sign.
It looks bad. It looks
very
bad.
Yeah. Aethersphere Harvester comes across for another 3. Bondo's going to go up to 11.
The Minotaur is not tapping.
Didn't activate? Oh, did. Okay, there we go. Still 1 energy left in the tank thanks to that Aether Hub.
I think he's so far ahead now that it doesn't really matter.
11 life is a lot of life here, and Moray doesn't have too much to say about it. A lone carry Zev and backed up by an Earthshaker Kenra as an exerted Uncrop Crasher.
And if he was
catches his breath on the sidelines,
if he was short on energy, he would just be able to bring back one of the Siphoners, get 1 energy right away to activate the Harvester.
And Moray does not have anything to say about this with an Uncrop Crasher and an Earthshaker Kenra in hand.
The Italians are probably out, and the Danes are going to play the playoffs for sure, and most likely in first seed.
So almost.
I don't think anyone can catch up.
Almost certainly.
They are.
Oh, just certainly.
Yeah, they are.
Okay, I'm going to retract that. Almost certainly now. The Danes have made it into the top 4, so congratulations to them. An undefeated run so far, which is worth mentioning the fact that they haven't picked up a loss, just a single draw. Wow, really on a tear, these guys, and unfortunately that Italian team. I mean, Raf, we may see one X3 team sneak into top 4.
It's possible, yeah.
It could happen, but it's unlikely to be this Italian team.
We have to check the standings again. But the Danes have 37 points now. And they cannot be caught up.
They can't be overtaken.
So they will be first.
So that'll be that. There we go. So we'll see those in our top 4. Who else remains to fill out those top 3 slots? Remains to be seen, but of course we will get you across it just as soon as we can. My friends, we've got to go to some ads after this. Of course, more Magic coming your way from GP Madrid, so stick around. We'll see you back here before very much longer.
Celebrate 25 years of Magic with Masters 25. Featuring cards from all 25 years of Magic's history, Masters 25 is filled with the best of the best. With over 30 pieces of new Magic art and a foil card in every booster, make sure to pick up your box on March 16th. Up your game with Ultra Pro Magic the Gathering accessories. Find the best Magic art on card sleeves, deck boxes, playmats, and more. Visit ultrapro.com to learn more and find a retailer near you.
And welcome back here to the tournament floor at GP Madrid, my friends. We are still well and truly in the thick of things here during MTG Red Zone. It's great to have you along. My name's Riley Nutt. I'm joined by Raphael Levy, the Hall of Famer, and we are going to get underway with some Time Walk Magic before very much longer. Before that, of course, however, we are going to have a look at the decks that people will be playing. And, well, first of all, let's talk about the players. Who have we got in the Time Walk area for our next round, or for our next little bit here?
So I think we have Mengucci, Delcano, Dominguez.
Okay.
Against, I'm not sure.
We've got him on our screen now here. Christoph Green, Ben Jones, and Charles Eliatambi here. And we've seen the Gucci main alongside Christian Calcano and Javier Dominguez already a couple of times on the screen here. Grixis Energy or Grixis Control, Jund and Salto or Bug Delver in the hands of Dominguez there. But their opponents here also Grixis Energy with Christoph Green, Grixis Shadow for Ben Jones, and looks like Eliatambi is playing Eldrazi, a throwback to that the old Eye of Ugin in modern days there, but it's ported across to Legacy very powerfully indeed. We can have a look at what's going on here between Charles Eliatambi and Javier Dominguez. We already talked about the fact that it is, of course, Sultai Delver facing off against Eldrazi here, Raf. And we've seen a lot of Delver decks in the feature match area here, but so why don't we focus on what's going on with this Eldrazi list here? So
the Eldrazi deck has, I think it's 12 lands that can produce 2 mana, Ancient Tomb, Eldrazi Temple, and Eye of Ugin. So it's 11, sorry, because he's only playing 3 of the Eye. 3 eyes. On top of that, actually 2 City of Traders, so a couple more lands to power out these colorless threats. And, so it's 13.
It's 13. 13. Unlucky 13 there, and this is going to power out things like Eldrazi Mimic, as you see, Matter Reshaper, Thought Not Seer, Endless One, Reality Smasher, Endbringer, and then there are some other options like Umezawa's Jitte, which is a nice one, Simiot Spirit Guide to tie this whole broken air conditioner together, and a single Warping Whale as well as another interactive option. But once again, I mean, anyone who was a fan of the modern format a couple of years ago will remember the Eldrazi Winter when we had Eldrazi Temple and Eye of Ugin legal alongside one another in modern. We had ridiculous starts with turn 2 Thought Not Seers, Eldrazi Mimics were copying and attacking for 4 on turn number 2, what have you. It looks like some of that degeneracy has ported to Legacy quite effectively.
Exactly. Yeah, he wants to play turn 2 Thought Not Seer, and with Bolt being the main removal spell in the format, that 4/4 on turn 2 is a threat that it's a dead weight.
Yeah, here's a dead weight for Javier Dominguez. One of the ways for him to power up his Tarmogoyfs by putting an enchantment in the bin.
Yeah, dead weight takes care of Delver.
Deathrite Shaman. Young Pyromancer. It kills a lot of things.
Yeah. And that's
True name Nemesis if they name themselves instead of their opponent.
Yeah, that's unlikely though.
It is unlikely. Here's a Chalice for 1, and this is one of the other reasons to play the Eldrazi deck. Access to Chalice of the Void on 1 shuts out so many decks.
That's what I was saying with the removals, like not being able to kill a 4/4. Dead weight is not killing a 4/4. Fail Push could. Well, it probably will with the fetch land. But the start from Javier is a good one. He's putting a tremendous amount of pressure on Charles with a Flip Delver and a Disarray Shaman. And the 4/4 on the ground is not going to be able to block this.
And this is critically, of course, after the Chalice for 1 was played. It looks like Dominguez has already had a chance to deploy these threats ahead of time. And now we have a Hymn to Turak, which is going to remove some of these cards. 1 and 2 cards hit the bin. Eye of Ugin and a Wasteland here for Eliatambi. So he'll still have some action in hand. We're going to see an attack for 3. Classic Delver move.
So what's left in Charles' hand is a Matter Reshaper and a Jitte.
Just drawing a Mishra's Factory by the look of things.
And Jitte is going to be very good here. Because with Chalice on the 1, there's not going to be a lot of ways. Javier is going to be able to keep Charles from adding counters on the Jitte.
Matter Reshaper comes down. And Deathrite Shaman pings in for 2. Let's see what Dominguez wants to do here. It's going to be a Baleful Strix.
Good way to deal with a creature on the board.
And now a Wasteland to remove this Eye of Ugin. So this this Eldrazi Temple, this quite significantly knocks back Eliatambi's mana development. Although he can,
Oh,
of
he
course,
dual lands, so he can play the GT and equip thanks to a Spirit Guide, Simeon Spirit Guide.
Okay, here's an Umezawa's Jite. Dominguez doesn't have a response. And Simeon Spirit Guide, so this is huge here because, of course, putting counters on this Jite is just enormous. And Elliot Tamby's happy to do it at the cost of the Matter Reshaper.
The thing is, Javier is going to kill the Reshaper, and that leaves charge without any creature to equip the GT.
But two charge counters just to begin with is huge in the face.
That's going to deal. That's going to deal with the. Oh, and this
Dismember off the top as well to deal with whatever's left over. So Dominguez exiles another sorcery or an instant here to knock Elliot Tamby down to 10. But Elliot Tamby has the onboard answer to one of these creatures and the in-hand answer to the other.
To activate the Mishra's Factory and equip it, he will need 2 more lands. Oh, 1 more land, sorry.
Him to Turak.
With the Dismember.
Bit of a Raven's Crime here. And Delver down, thanks to the activation of Umezawa's Jite.
Oh, and Wasteland for the Mishra's Factory.
Ooh, nice
So
one.
no attack from this one.
So this means Dominguez can try to ride this
That's a pretty bad one.
Deathrite Shaman to victory here.
Reality Smasher. Just too much. He needs 2 more lands, including one that provides 2 mana.
Elliot Tamby down to 8 now with Deathrite really getting it done. And
So now he needs 1 more.
An Urborg here for Elliot Tamby.
But I think it's going to be too late.
Down to 6. 3 more Deathrite activations will do it. Dominguez holding cards that do basically nothing in Thought Season Brainstorm.
Is it? No, it's not. It's not a creature.
Elliot Tamby ships. Brainstorm is countered by the
But it doesn't
Chalice.
matter. It's a spell. Spell in the graveyard's good enough. So now he needs to attack right away and equip with a creature. He needs a. I don't think this is something that could
Goblin Balloon Brigade.
No, and that doesn't cost 1 because otherwise it would be countered.
Yeah. Well, Goblin Balloon Brigade, mate.
Goblin Balloon Brigade.
Yeah.
No, it's a 1/1 for 1.
Is it a 1 for 2?
No, it's 1 for 1.
Oh, it's 1 for 1. All right,
And
never mind.
And
Can't
it
cast that.
doesn't have haste.
Thoughtseize now hits the bin. Elliot Tamby down to 2. And a Tarmogoyf. Wasteland is not enough for Elliot Tamby to keep things together, so Dominguez handily wins his first game, and with the magic
To keep the dream alive after starting with 1/2.
But a movie magic now propels us across to Modern, where we are well and truly underway in a Jund mirror match here.
No, it's Jund against Death Shadow.
Oh, excuse me, a Jund in the hands of Christian Calcano. It looks like we've got GDS from Ben Jones.
Bench's on 3 life. What you want to be on when you're playing Death Shadow, just make sure you don't die.
1 mana,
to
10
lightning
10s.
bolts.
Too bad. So Gurmag Angler in hand for Jones. It looks like that may be the card he's considering playing here.
Is a Death Shadow to go along the fish.
Really looking to come up the ground here.
So
Calcano, of course, is drawing live, however. Plenty of cards for Calcano that are going to get it done.
So he's keeping 2 instants and a creature, just to be able to flashback something from, thanks to Snapcaster Mage and a Death Shadow, just in case he has a Colligans come in. So 5/5 to hold the fort. Double black, Dark Confident. Yep.
So Dark Confident, a nice one for Calcano, considering he is on 13 life. We did see him die to the double Dark Confident in previous rounds. The price of greatness sometimes is a little bit too high. But here now, 4 copies of Lightning Bolt for Calcano, so he's gonna look to snag one of them. Serum Visions. Draw a card, scry 2. See if Jones can finds the tools he needs.
He needs a Death Shadow or something to deal with the Dark Confident.
Well, let's see. 4 cards in hand here for Jones.
Christian now does not want the Angler to attack because that would mean bad news.
What has Jones got here? 1 black mana. It's going to be a fatal push.
That's the first step.
On the Dark Confident. Watery Grave enters tapped and
And
ships back to Calcano, who is
no
attempting
attacks.
to keep up with the Jones here.
Another one.
Another Dark Confident off the top.
Oh, there's a stubborn denial somewhere.
That doesn't do much right now. Thoughts
Milieu.
go here. Colligan's Command, in addition to that Raging Ravine, hits the graveyard. Why do you
Well,
mill
yeah,
out
that's
Calcano there?
I'm not sure. I'm trying to understand why you would mill your opponent instead of yourself when you play Caligan's Command and Snapcaster Mage.
Very curious.
Because it does play Snapcaster Mage, right?
Almost certainly. I mean,
Yeah,
it would be
well,
a very
that-
odd GDS deck that didn't.
That could be. And if you play Gormag Angler too.
Yeah. Doesn't seem to make any sense. So obviously something going on there. Snapcaster Mage, a very difficult card not to include as a 4-up. Here's an attack now for Ben Jones.
That's scary. That's very scary.
Calcano must be thinking, what's up? What is up, Doc? Well, what is up is another Fatal Push, and now here's a Death Shadow for 10, as a 10-10 for 1.
So now he wants to see a Bloodbraid Elves.
Let's see. What can you find?
Bloodbraid would be great against Stubborn Denial.
Calc, what do you got, my dude? Stubborn Denial in the hand of Ben Jones is going to keep the Atmosphere Lightning Bolt proof here.
That's okay. It's not bad.
Tarmogoyf's a big boy. We're going to count it out here. Looks like a 5/6. Instant, land, creature, sorcery,
bigger than
planeswalker.
the fish.
A little bit bigger than that fish. Although it does mean that the Death Shadow is going to force a chump block here from Calcano. Jones sitting pretty behind that Stubborn Denial in hand here.
Still
GDS proving that it's still got what it takes to run with the big dogs.
He's still that to Bloodbraid Elf.
Blocks with BBE here for Calcano. And it's back to the TI-84. What can he find? 2 cards in hand here for the New Yorker. What's he got? Calc with the slow rolls. Come on, fella. Give it to
A
us.
Bloodbraid Elf. And Andre Mengucci gets game 1.
Ooh, Mengucci follows in the footsteps of Javier Dominguez with a game 1 win against Christoph Green. And the dream run for the Gucci man continues. Here's a Tarmogoyf.
Another. Are they 5/6?
And an attack now. Jones forced chump block. And both players just trading chump blocks here. Jones.
So Ben Jones looking for a way to deal with the untapped Tarmogoyf. I think it's a fatal push.
Yep, fatal push off the top, and that is going to be enough here for Ben Jones to take out game number 1, avenging the deaths of Christoph Green and Charles Eliatambi here. And we're going to move back over now to our legacy table. Eliatambi going up against Dominguez, and with a Ratchet Bomb out and Anumazawa's Jitte, looks like Eliatambi's already made some commitments to the board, but Dominguez has a Liliana on 6.
But there's a Ratchet Bomb for 2. Can you give me the text of a Ratchet Bomb?
So Ratchet Bomb, you tap and sacrifice and destroy all non-land permanents with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on Ratchet Bomb.
So we deal with Liliana.
We'll deal with Liliana next turn. Dominguez, it's unclear. I mean, presumably Liliana's gone to 6 this turn? You would think so. Not immediately clear here as a Deathrite Shaman comes down. No, going upstairs, okay. And an attack now with Tarmogoyf. So Dominguez with the option there of ultimating Liliana. But instead looks like she may fall victim to the Ratchet Bomb here.
Yeah, I think so.
Eliatambi with the choice of either losing half his permanents or just 1. So, seems like a decent choice. Has he shipped? No, he's gonna crack the bomb. Yeah.
So now he needs a creature. He needs a Matter Reshaper would be good. But isn't too much pressure already?
So Dominguez untapping with 2 pretty potent threats here in the form of a Tarmogoyf and a Deathrite Shaman. He's going to look to flick and flack down.
So, that's too late. That's
Eliatambi's life total, and
Javier
that is that
takes
there.
Match 1.
Yes, Javier Dominguez wins the entire match there after a straight sets victory against Charles Eliatambi. 2-0. Well done there, the Spaniard getting it done in his home country. Over now to Andrea Mengucci and Christoph Green. Andrea Mengucci, of course, winning game number 1 here. And a Scarab God is going to try to get him across the line in game number 2. This is the Grixis energy mirror between these two gentlemen here.
I think they are the exact same 75.
Is that right?
At least the main deck seems very similar. I couldn't find the game you play when you're small, and you spot the differences.
Oh yeah, spot the difference.
I couldn't find one.
Well, I can see that Christoph Green is playing 1 copy of Revolutionary Rebuff, which I don't think Mengucci has chosen to include. That's the rubbish mana leak.
mana fleek. One. The sideboard is a little different.
And
The 60 cards in the main deck are the same.
No, there's a revolutionary rebuff in the deck of.
All right. So maybe the 55.
Very
59.
close. Very close indeed. Another Scarab God comes down after Green's first one is exiled thanks to Vraska's Contempt. This matchup seems to be very dependent on who can stick and play with a Scarab God here, and it looks like Christoph Green has that advantage there. But we are going to see a commit now for Mengucci to remove the God from play. Cast off, of course, the Chandra double red activation there.
Vraska's Contempt to deal with the Chandra.
Green just has all the answers here. Answers for days, and that's going to be the end of Chandra's brief appearance there, although she did good work.
So how does Field of Ruins... what does Field of Ruins say?
Well, Field of Ruin...
Is it a May?
Field of Ruin right now would give Mengucci a way to perhaps shuffle those libraries, but it could be the case that...
he just wastelands?
That Green...
Not wasteland, just strip and final land?
It could just be a wasteland effect. Yeah, because... no, it's not a May. They have to.
You have to.
You
Well,
have to
that's actually a really good play here.
Yep. So Mengucci is going to be able to shuffle away the Scarab God, although it doesn't look like he's going to do it. Mengucci.
Oh, no.
No.
So you have to, right? Each player searches.
Yeah, they have to search. They cannot.
So,
they can not choose not to search.
If he loses to Scarab God, then he missed that play.
Well, it's going to be a Whirl of Virtuoso instead, and here is the Scarab God, freshly drawn here for Christoph Green. Mengucci did have the option of shuffling that away because the text of Field of Ruin says each player searches his or her library. So even if they don't get a land out, they still have to shuffle.
So that would have been a very good option for Andrea here.
Harness Lightning, however, means that it'll be taken off the battlefield for at least one more turn.
Oh, but now he wants to do Time Twister, I think. Okay, so in a way, he dealt with the Scarab God.
It's a bit more of a roundabout way. He took the scenic route.
Yeah.
But here is the back half of Commit to Memory. It is in fact Memory, which shuffles the graveyard and hands into their respective libraries. And we're going to draw a fresh grip of 7.
So now Andrea's ahead, but with both players with 7 cards in hand.
So both players without too much on the battlefield, just that lonely Whirl of Virtuoso there for Mengucci. But Christoph Green is going to be the one who gets to untap first after this Time Twister effect. And that, for anyone who has played Time Twister back in the day, you'll know that the advantage is given to the person who gets to untap the fresh grip first. Yeah. So fresh 7 off the top here.
I played with Days Undoing a couple times in Modern.
Yeah.
And passing the turn 7 cards is
it's kind of bad.
You just hope it's not going to go too bad. But usually it goes pretty bad.
Well, let's see how badly it goes here for Mengucci, the Italian stallion. As we go back to Christoph Green, who cycles away his Canyon Slough and gets stuck in now with his next turn. 8 cards in hand for him. He'll be happy with that.
Look at this rebuff.
Not so good in these later stages of the game, although maybe can still snipe something. Revolutionary rebuff. A powered down Mana Leak. The poor man's Mana Leak there. Only taxing 2 rather than 3. And Green with a lot of options to consider here, I guess, with Elliot Tabby in his ear as well. Duress. Let's see what Mengucci is working with here.
That's a pretty bad hand after Time Twister.
Just all interaction, no gas except for that Glint Sleeve Siphoner here. He's got an Essence Scatter, a Harness Lightning, and a Spruzzo di Magma. Green taking some quick notes here from the back of the classroom, and he's going to get rid of one of these cards as well. Not sure which one he's going to go after. What do you target here?
Pretty hard. Either Harness Lightning or Essence Scatter.
For a hard eject there. It's going to be the Harness Lightning here. And now, oh dear, has he just drawn the Scarab God as well?
Yeah, I think he drew 2.
Oh no. Oh no.
It never always comes back.
Oh, that Commit to Memory did not do what Mengucci wanted it to do here. Because not only did he not find too much gasoline of his own, he gave Christoph Green a hand that looks pretty terrific, to be honest. Duress into the Scarab God, a great way for Christoph Green to get back onto the board here. Mengucci, I think he just drew a Vraska's Contempt, however.
No, I think he drew a Gonti.
Oh, a Gonti instead, okay. Another 4-cost black card. This time it's going to snag 4 cards off the top of the library here. We'll see what Mengucci is looking at. There is a Vraska's Contempt.
Yeah.
All right, okay.
And we know that Mengucci has lands to cast it.
Yes, he does. Yes, he's got lands to play and, of course, can get rid of that Scarab God very, very quickly and easily as well. So crisis averted here for Andrea Mengucci after that Gonti Lord of Luxury, giving Mengucci the luxury of some breathing room here.
Doomfall.
Doomfall even better. All right. Doesn't require that extra land to be played. Now Mengucci may have a tapped land to put into play here. He does indeed. Canyon Slough, and just for good measure, give you a bit of a pasting with that old Whirl of Virtuoso. Back to Green now, who, it's your understanding, Raph, that he has another Scarab God in hand?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Dear. Oh, dearie me.
Is that one? Yeah, I think so. I think that's one.
Always has it. It's about the 5th one that he's cast this game.
How about this guy?
Mengucci can't believe it. And he also has got 4 mana as well. 9 mana in total, so that we will see a reanimation effect if there are any creatures into the graveyard.
No reanimation here.
No creatures for him to target just yet.
No.
All right. Well, Gucci will want to keep his creatures alive for the time being now. Fetid Pool cycled away. What's he looking for here? Another Vraska's Contempt of his own, perhaps. And now we see an Ether Hub. Mengucci kind of scrabbling to keep himself in this one here after having won the first game. It looks like Ben Jones and Javier Dominguez here have settled the account on the back tables. So it's all down to Mengucci versus Christoph Green here. This will determine who stays and who goes as we head closer and closer towards our top 4 here at GP Madrid. The format, of course, Team Trios. It's great to have your company as we explore these 3 formats throughout the weekend here from Spain. Thanks for sticking with us so far, and we look forward to have your company throughout the top 4 as well, which will be coming your way before very much longer.
So I'm tapping with 10 mana with the Scarab God.
Yeah.
And 4 cards in hand.
Not a bad way to live your life. Not a bad way to live your life at all. There one.
So rebuff, that does pretty much nothing here. Well, it could counter Vraska's Contempt right now, but I think he would have played it on his turn. I think Andrea would have played it on his turn.
So Mengucci will be able to start drawing some extra cards with his Glintsleeve Siphoner if Green has nothing to say about it here.
But I think he has a Vraska's Contempt. That's when exiling a creature is a little worse than just destroying it.
Yeah, I think he would rather just
back.
a straight-up murder here, wouldn't he?
Or Befoul for 4 mana.
Here is Vraska's Contempt on the Glintsleeve Siphoner. Green looking to shut that door on Mengucci.
Rebuff. Commit to memory and another land.
Mengucci finds another Ether Hub here. His hand's still not looking too great. He's got a copy of Essence Scatter and Magma Spray in it. Anything else for the young Italian master? No. He sends it shipping back to Green.
As long as there's no creature in the... Is that another Scarab God? Wow, that's...
It's pretty disgusting.
He's... Wow, that's actually great. He's offering the trade, the Scarab God, for the Gonti. So when he plays the second Scarab God, he has a Gonti to reanimate.
Yeah, that's pretty gross. That's pretty gross here. Mengucci with the option of just taking 5. He can, of course, get rid of that Scarab God. But it will mean that Green, if he does have that second God in hand, will gain immediate value off of the Lord of Luxury.
I'm pretty sure that's what he drew. Because what else can you draw? Scarab God, of course.
Just always draw Scarab God.
Yeah,
that's
always
the answer.
draw them.
That's the key to the standard
the first
format.
one is gone. There's always another one. You don't know where it comes from, but it's always there.
I think Green has managed to find all 3 copies that he's playing here. Oh no, he's playing 4. He's playing 4.
So in the meantime, Ben Jones won. Have we mentioned that?
Yes. It all does indeed come down to this game here with Andrea Mengucci. Looks like this Spruzzo di Magma, this Magma Spray, is looking for a way to exile the Scarab God once and for all.
So that's going to mess with Christoph's plans here. because if the Scarab God dies on that turn, he will be exiled.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he has another one, he wants to protect it.
So the Magma Spray seems to have resolved here. No?
No, he
No,
can't.
no. Okay. Green's still thinking about it. Menguchi's hands seem to tell a different story, but no. Okay, away goes the Magma Spray. And
Yeah, I
commit to
guess-
memory hits the bin
yeah.
as well.
Okay.
So a block with the Gonti Lord of Luxury, and this is not going to pan out the way that Menguchi would like it to here. Because that's now another creature in the bin here.
Yeah, I think I would just play it.
Play the second god.
Yeah. There's no
Alright.
reason not to. I mean, Menguchi will have to...
He's got an Essence Scatter in hand here, Menguchi.
yeah. And now if you don't miss the trigger, you have another one back up, so... And now if you Menguchi, like, okay, you just talk straight to your opponent with your, like, eyes straight into his eyes and just draw, and the trigger has been forgotten. That's how you do it.
Christoph Green has forgotten the trigger to bring back the Scarab God there.
That's what I was talking about.
So walk us through that again.
So the way that's a little tricky, but when triggers are like on the like are pending,
Yeah.
the best way to make your opponent forget about them is to make them like lose focus. That's basically the tricks the magicians are using.
The Jedi mind
No,
trick.
you just like you make them lose focus on what they should be focusing on.
Misdirection.
Yeah, you like okay, wait, how many cards and right away you change pace. Okay, are you done? And you untap and you draw.
I don't like the sound of that.
But no, it's not. The trigger is still there. If he
I still don't like it.
If he remembers,
Sure, but I
he
still
will
don't
get
like.
it.
I still don't like it.
Okay,
I think that borders on unsportsmanship.
this is not exactly unsportsmanship.
I think it's close to it. I don't like it.
Okay.
Scarab God comes down now, and a Harness Lightning targeting the third Scarab God here for Christoph Green.
And this one is gonna come back. Should come back.
Yeah, well, hopefully Green doesn't fall for the same. Oh no, he brought back the second. He brought back the one that was killed the last turn. I mean, obviously functionally the same. It's just funny that he brought back the one that he forgot to bring back last time. Not a delayed trigger, mate. Doesn't last that long. So Green now. Scarab God in hand for him. Menguchi has played it. We'll see if Green wants to commit this to this Scarab God to the board here. Hamstringing himself a little bit by having forgotten that trigger because Menguchi does still have the Essence Scatter in hand. We saw that with the duress turns and turns ago.
So think about it. It is sportsmanship. That's what I did with the not mandatory triggers.
Non-mandatory triggers.
Yeah.
Well, no matter your perspective on it, it certainly put Menguchi in a much better position than he would have been otherwise.
So now what can happen is that he can bring back one of his Scarab Gods, and bring it back at the end of put the trigger back in play pretty
Sure.
much.
So and then
So he has two Scarab Gods in play. One of them dies, and then he can bring it back to hand.
and then he's going to ride on the token one,
Yeah.
sure, because the other one will be exiled. Oh well, doesn't matter. Look, any way you slice it,
Yeah.
Christoph Green, he's got one on the battlefield. Menguchi is going to reanimate his Gonti. And that is going to be enough here for him to draw an extra card off the top of Green's library. He's going to get his pick of the bunch here, top 4. He can take whichever one he likes. And Gucci consults the graveyard, the exile zone, command zone, scrapyard zone, before selecting a card now. Nice little value play, in addition to, of course, the card. He's got a 4/4 Death Toucher, which is no joke. And here's a Harness Lightning on Menguchi's Scarab God, and he's of course tapped out, so he's got very little to say about this. Scarab God hits the bin. Let's see if Menguchi is going to keep it about. Well, no, it's going to be exiled straight away to Christoph Green's Scarab God, and of course that just means that it goes away for good.
This is becoming a mess here, with all the tap lands, the graveyards.
Back to Mengucci here, who's running a tight ship, I have to say, with his permanent placement. In contrast to Christoph Green.
This is confusing on the Christoph side.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's a messy boy. So let's see what continues here with a Glimmer of Genius now, and then. Mengucci's going to draw 2. A Glimmer of Genius coming off of the Gonti there. So 2 more energy, 2 more cards. Nice one here.
Is Andrea going to find a way to deal with that Scarab God?
He's got a lot of mana, got a lot of energy. What can he find? Because again, all this game has come down to is who can eke the most value out of the Scarab God, and Christoph Green has been the one to do it so far. Mengucci in attack for 5 now. Both players at a pretty high life total.
Oh. So Scarab God is exiled this time. He knew about that Magma Spray, right?
No, that was the one that was put back in the library. Yeah. Yep. So away goes the Scarab God once and for all. Although
there's probably another one.
There's probably another one. Christoph Green is playing about 7 of them, it seems. He's got one in hand here.
Because, yeah. Other 3 Scarab Gods exiled.
And he's got one in hand. Gonti here. 4 cards off the top from Mengucci's library. Selects one of them, and the rest go packing. So let's have a look what Green is going to hustle and bustle with here. It's going to be another Scarab God.
And here we go. Scarab number...
I think it's the 5th.
5th? Only 5th? Oh, wow. The
revolutionary rebuff actually finally does something.
Finally was online.
Quite incredible. Quite incredible here. So here is the Scarab God.
The one and only.
The one and only out of all the 5 or 6 that we've seen. It's the one and only, Raph. So Mengucci now, once again, under a lot of pressure here. And it's going to be a Doomfall.
Gonti's going to die.
And an attack now across for 3. Of course, no blocks on that Glensleeve Siphoner, given the fact that it has Menace. Mengucci finally hellbent as well. He needs to really rip something special. That Whirl of Virtuoso has done next to nothing all game.
It's just sitting there.
Just hanging out, just enjoying the view.
It attacked for 2 once.
I think it did that. Didn't do too much else.
And now
here.
with untapping mana, it's going to reanimate 3 creatures, and there are creatures in the graveyards, right? We can't see.
Well, no, the sloppy apple pie that is on Christoph Green's
that doesn't
side
have
here.
one. But on Andrea's side, there must be some creatures there.
Well, the Gonti was exiled.
Let's see.
We don't know what else is. We're going to be able to have a look here, but I don't think there are any creatures
not.
at all.
Maybe
no.
not. Okay, well, just a 5/5.
Just a 5/5.
It's only a 5/5.
Just a 5/5. In it comes. Mengucci down to 16 now.
Oh, and what's the card?
Both players hellbent. What's on top of the library? Let's go.
Now what's the?
Oh, he's
the
got a card
itself
for
from
Gonti.
Yeah.
Yep, sure. Not quite hellbent. Close to it though. 1 card off the top. It's a Vraska's Contempt here for Mengucci. In addition to another card thanks to that Glensleeve Siphoner. So Mengucci loses a life, draws 2 here for the turn. Another Whirl of Virtuoso keeps the energy flowing for him.
That's good news for Mengucci.
But a Jace's defeat means that this Vraska's Contempt removes another copy of the Scarab God.
Is he going to join? Is he going to join another one?
Green only has 1 left in his library. Mengucci now starts to twist the knife. In come the clowns for 5 damage. What has Green got here? Off the top, Scarab God.
No, he's going to. Does he have a
Harness Lightning?
Does he have a commit memory in this graveyard?
I think he does. Yeah, he cast the commit on the Sprozzo di Magma, the Magma Spray before, and it's going to be Harness Lightning on the on our good friend Glensleeve Siphoner here. So
and let's do the Time Twister again.
Let's do the Time Twister one more time. So all those cards being shuffled away.
There's not a lot of Scarab Gods left in the.
No, I think there's
deck.
only one. There's only one left in Christoph's deck, and Andrea Mengucci, on the other hand, he does have 4 in his main deck too. You'd imagine that all of them would be brought to bear in this matchup. Seems to be all about that Scarab God. So 7 cards off the top for both players here. Christoph Green, clean your room, buddy. He's got 3 mana untapped by the look of things. Unable to deploy that Chandra in hand. Here's the 4th one, so that could change things on that front at least. But even Chandra here in this spot doesn't do a huge amount. And as we head towards our next round, we're going to speed things up a little bit here, of course, with Time Walk Magic. Whoa, okay, off to the races. Here they go. An attack here for Andrea Mengucci. Christoph Green down to 9. Harness Lightning targets that Wheel of Virtuoso. Away it goes. A Supreme Wheel on Impulse mode. 4 cards off the top. Confiscation Coup amongst them.
Do you have to talk as fast as well?
I'm going to try. Do my very best.
And that's things counter.
I sound like a horse. I sound like a horse race caller here. Chandra Torch of Defiance going to get rid of that Thopter with a Flame Slash. Here is Vraska's Contempt exiling the Chandra. A Chandra of Mengucci's own comes back for 4 mana. Upstairs, 2 damage up top for
I can't keep up, I'm sorry.
Christoph Green. A Torrential Gearhulk comes down, end step, going to flashback something here. Maybe another Vraska's Contempt take care of that Chandra. No, it's going to be a Supreme Will instead. So Torrential Gearhulk comes down, however, to counter that one there with an Essence Scatter flashback. Mengucci up to 21 now. Christoph Green down to 7. Harness Lightning on the Torrential Gearhulk gets rid of that. We've still got Chandra Torch of Defiance alive and kicking. Duress reveals 3 lands. Mengucci with nothing to do. 4 mana, another Chandra comes down. 5 damage redirected to the opposing Chandra down to 3. There's a lot of cards here for Mengucci's from Mengucci's library as Gonti Lord of Luxury comes down. It's a Vraska's Contempt, another one here on that.
This is a crazy game.
On that Chandra Torch of Defiance.
And now it's Chandra and Gonti against pretty much nothing.
Scarab God Act 1 is finished. Another Duress reveals nothing in Andrea Mengucci's hand. All of a sudden, Christoph Green going to ride this Chandra to victory if he can. 2 cards in hand. She goes upstairs once again to 7. Very close here with Mengucci. Half his library is on the table in the form of his lands. As we see in a Chandra Ultimate here, this means that every spell is going to deal 5. A Glimmer of Genius for Mengucci. Can he find what he needs to push through that final 9 points of damage?
He needs 4 spells.
1 spell, a Canyon Slough here. He's got a Doomfall now. Confiscation Coup hits the bin. 5 damage down to 12 for Mengucci. All those lands, all dressed up, but nowhere to go. Can't do anything. This emblem is going to be enough here, you would think. A Glint Sleeve Siphoner down to 7. Harness Lightning for Mengucci. Christoph Green on 9, Mengucci on 7. All of a sudden, this Chandra emblem looks to completely overtake the game. It is a Vraska's Contempt here for Christoph Green.
Oh, that's a target.
And that is a target for the Vraska's Contempt here, which is going to mean that in response, we are going to see another Vraska's Contempt. Mengucci knocked down to negative life, and that is enough. And ladies and gentlemen, I have very bad news for you. We don't have time to show game number 3 because it's time for us to get to round 14. Raf and I are going to step out the booth. Moraine and Tim are going to come in. And, of course, to announce the result of that match, Christoph Green did manage to win game number 3. So Mengucci, Calcano, and Javier Dominguez unfortunately bow out at X and 3. Their opponents, however, continue to tussle for that top 4 position. My friends, we're going to go to a break, but on the other side of it, we'll be joined, of course, by Tim and Moraine to close out the Swiss portion of this tournament. You're not going to want to miss it, my friends. But, of course, it's going to happen after these ads. Stick around. We'll be back before very much longer.